Hey, good morning everybody. BDO44 coming at you with another video. All right, so walking down the street, of course, as I always do. It's funny because I wasn't sure I wanted to leave the house today. Yesterday I had a pretty bad day with my stomach, and everything that I had eaten was bad for me, more or less. It was some 21 seasoning, which is seasoning I used to put on everything that I love to eat, man. It was a really good thing to put in eggs and seasoned meat and all of that. So I bought some of that for the first time in a long time. But the thing about it is I'm allergic to 2 or 3 ingredients probably in it. Very bad decision. So I've been putting that on my food, hadn't had any problems, but yesterday morning I had a lot of problems. So it was one of them situations where I just stayed home, rested, and kind of felt a little lightheaded today, to be honest with you. Didn't feel 100% today, but I threw the trash out about 25 minutes ago and realized that I felt great just walking to get that done. So it's like if that made me feel much better, then obviously I could use some sunlight, some air, and some walking. And so I know that's how to make my body feel better. It ain't necessarily rest, but more so rest and work, exercise and things of that nature. So this is me getting out, trying to make sure that I catch up on some exercise, maybe get out and buy some rice, maybe climb those hills that I like to climb in Hollywood. That kind of routine has been really good for my body. So yeah, man, that's what I'm doing. But it's been a rough couple of days for my physical. It just, I'm allergic to some real basic stuff. So anything I try to doctor my food up with, seasoning, whatever the case may be, it don't react well. In fact, it reacts very poorly. So that's what I'm recovering from, man. It's one thing after another. I've been getting hit back to back. Flu, this, allergic, that. It's like, damn, body's really giving me hell, but I'm still pushing through. It ain't really stopping me from doing what I gotta do. Keep me down for about a day, then I'm right back out, that kind of thing. So that's the attitude that I'm bringing to the table right now, is to just continue to work on doing what I gotta do to maintain my health or improve my health or whatever, needs to be done. So that's what this is. I'm 100% certain I'll feel better when I walk home. I did the same when I was at last out. I didn't feel all that great walking down the street on this path. By the time I came back, I was 100% ready to do my 100th exercise. So I'm pretty sure today it's the same thing. But yeah, man, there's a lot going on in regards to Israel and Iran. I guess Israel is supposed to be bombing Iran or something like that. But I don't know exactly how that's shaking out, because it seems like Iran is essentially saying they ain't really bombing much of anything. I don't know what's going on there, but the fallout from the genocide, man, and all that other stuff that Israel's been doing. So prayers out to everybody involved, man. I saw some footage of some mourning individuals in occupied Palestine, known as Israel. They had mourned one of their soldiers had died, and there was some footage that they were showing at the funeral, and the funeral consisted of a bunch of his families at a podium, sort of like everybody else, saying a few words, but the things they were saying is they wanted revenge for their martyred loved one, and that his intentions were to kill as many of Palestinians as possible, and men, women, and children, and that's what they wanted too, for his honor. It was just like, this is the type of thing that people, they've been taught how to do this, and they taught how to be like this, but they ain't really, for whatever reason, able to see why the teaching doesn't yield the results of anything other than more of the same suffering that they're wailing over. He was a person who was inflicting suffering on others, as you detailed in your eulogy, that he was intentional on killing men, women, and children. Killing equals death. Death is what he faced for doing so. Death is what brought the pain that has you on that podium wailing for revenge. And your solution is to continue to do that, for which brings the pain that you ultimately suffer, and you don't see anything wrong with that. That's the problem that I really am trying to get people to see. And Israel's so brainwashed and so stupid. If there's any other way of putting it, it's just stupidity. that they don't see how what it is that they uphold brings about the result of the suffering that they complain about. And that no one is there honest about that or able to see that angle is a devilish clouding of the mind. It's devilish. It is truly devilish because it will keep you from seeing what manifests the suffering that you suffer from. And there's so many different applications of that the devil has on the human mind in so many different ways. It's absolutely ridiculous. The next version of that is in my own community. A guy that I had on my prayer list for over 3 years by the name of Little Dirk, who just got picked up by the feds for something along the lines of paying for murder, the Little Pab murder. Essentially, if you've been following that situation, which I know a lot of people probably haven't, but Lil Durk is a rapper from Chicago who came up in the drill scene. One of his best friends is King Von, or was King Von, who was ultimately killed, beating the hell out of Quando Rondo, who's also a rapper from down south somewhere. The person who shot King Von ultimately was doing so in protection of Quando Rondo. As the situation ensued, while he was punching the hell out of Quando Rondo, his homeboy Little Tim got out of the car in that situation and shot King Von. Most people who follow this story know all about this. It ain't nothing new you hearing here. Furthermore, now the internet, of course, gets all up in arms telling Lil Durk that he needs to spin for Von. In other words, get revenge. Same thing. Go back and inflict more of the same pain that ultimately you suffer on somebody else. And Lil Durk, allegedly, from what it is that they're trying to charge him with, paid some people from his hood in Chicago to kill Quando Rondo. And in the process of them trying to do that hit, they didn't get their man. They got his cousin, Lil Pab. And of course, that took place out here. So, if you know that story, that happened across the street or down the street from the Beverly Center. Like, they came all the way from Chicago. So, of course, it's a conspiracy involving maybe some LA folks as well. Because in order for them Chicago dudes to get what they needed in order to do the job, obviously they didn't hop on the plane with the stuff. So they had to have gotten it from someone out here, or it had to have already been purchased and it's somebody's residence out here in order for them to get to it. So they had connections and stuff like that. Now it's a lot of talking in there about who did what. And, people's names is coming up in regards to who the LA dude is. And it's just a bunch of nonsense, man. But at the end of the day, Lil Durk is being said to have been on recording confessing as one of the people that he called his homeboys was a federal informant, and ultimately was recording Lil Durk saying whatever, however that went. And so as a result, now we have a situation where they got an ironclad case against this young fella, and they're trying to tie the money up to him doing whatever, however that went. And so at this point, when we pay attention to this situation, as we all often say on this channel, God is always showing me personally that the people I'm praying for, he's listening. He's always showing me this. And if you look at the indictment on Lil Durk, what you're going to keep on hearing over and over again is on August 18th, 2022, Lil Durk did this, Lil Durk did that, Lil Durk paid for this, Lil Durk did that. Over and over again, the indictment. Do you know what August 18th is? August 18th is my birthday. And as I said, Lil Durk is somebody I've been praying for over 3 years, meaning that I probably prayed for him the morning that this happened. In fact, I've been praying for him since I found out his brother D-Thang passed away. And one of the things that I always tell God is I don't care if a person is guilty or innocent. I'm going to pray for them anyway. I don't care if they're wrapped up in good stuff or devilish stuff. That ain't the point. It's because it's about you having your will upon them and your will upon me and your will upon the goodness around them. So even if they involved in stuff they ain't got no business doing, whatever they doing that they shouldn't be doing is going to get thwarted. Whatever the devil has them involved in, or whatever the evil energy has them involved in, it's going to blow up. Like that's really what it's about. It ain't necessarily about them getting away with it, whatever evil they doing. It's a lot of people on that prayer list that I don't think been doing all the greatest stuff. Some of them been accused of even worse things than this. And once again, as we've been talking about, God shows me that he's been not only listening to my prayers, but he's intent on moving through these people that I'm praying for. Hey, I'm telling you, man, it's the same application of thought that we said in the last conversation. If you're going to inflict the same suffering, if your intention is to make it so that other people are mourning and you are mourning, then you, from a spiritual standpoint, are just multiplying the energy that you are suffering from. You're essentially paying homage to the suffering you're going through. And the fact that the world don't understand that as they continue to kill in the name of death, murder in the name of suffering, hurt others in the name of them being hurt, it's like you're throwing a party for your own suffering, whether you know it or not. You're giving birth to more of the energy that ultimately is kicking your behind. Dirk, these Israeli settlers, the same thing, bro. It's no different. It's the same devil getting into the minds of human beings, making them think that the thing that they need to keep on doing is the same thing they ultimately suffering from. Now, the first thing they need to do when they feel pain is try to inflict that on somebody else. Or the same destruction that they ultimately are suffering from because somebody's engaging in that energy is something they need to engage in to further push it onto somebody else. Multiplying the devil's intentions going forward. That's what it's about. Whether you suffer or celebrate, you're multiplying the devil's intentions regardless. And furthermore, feeding yourself to the consequences of such. This is not something you should want to do. Especially when you've made it like a guy like Lil Durk, who got a bunch of money, kids all over the place, beautiful girl who stick by his side no matter what. And now he's facing not only what you would expect, but the feds, from what I understand, have the right to put the death penalty on the table for this. The death penalty on the table for Durk. Can you imagine that? But he put himself in that position. He's trying to adhere to the devilish entity that is the internet, which is always going to try to put you up to doing stuff that ain't got no good for you coming into it. So they can celebrate whatever happens to you. They don't ever want nothing good for you. The internet is always going to try to bully you into doing something you have no business doing. That's why I tell everybody who has any voice in this world, don't listen to the internet unless the internet is providing you something that coincides with the good energy that you want to see in the world. If you're going to listen to those who are trying to rile your ego up to do something devilish, those same people are going to come back around you when you get caught for it and tell you how stupid you were for doing it. There's no accountability in the wide world, and you don't know who all's a bot and who's actually a human being behind these voices. Don't listen to the internet. A guy like King Von, gone. You can't bring him back by spinning the block. This culture that has you thinking that revenge is your solution continues to feed you to the prison industrial complex. That's all it's doing. It's feeding you to the prison system. You're not bringing nobody back for killing more people. All you doing is prompting more people to come back and kill some of your people or yourself. That's literally all it do. I mean, after all, aren't you living proof of that? If that's what you're engaging in, someone killed your friend, right? Now what are you gonna do? It's like at some point in time, the only way to stop that is to stop that. Don't get involved in something that's gonna make it so that you paying homage to your very own pain. King Von was moving in a way that was aggressive, unhinged, and dangerous. when he died. That's a fact. It's on camera. We saw him. He was beating the hell out of somebody much smaller than him. Okay, that's what he was doing, attacking someone. And one of his homeboys saw that happening and in self-defense got out the car and protected his homeboy. Now, is there another way he could have went about it? Sure, maybe. Yes. Maybe you get out the car and you fire shots in a non-threatening way. Maybe you get out the car and you use your fist. Maybe you get out the car, use your fist, and King Von pull out a gun and shoot you. There's a lot of things that you can't tell is what. But what you do know is what King Von's reputation was. And if anybody been paying attention to the stuff that King Von had on his name, getting out the car using your fist trying to stop him from doing something was never a wise idea. Not based on his reputation. So if you're aware of the person's reputation and you see them attacking somebody that you care about, what you gonna do? You gonna sit in the car, armed, not doing nothing, watch your homeboy get beat up? I don't know anybody that's gonna do that. I don't know a single soul that's gonna do that, bro. You're gonna get out the car, you're gonna defriend your friend. And in doing so, that's what ensued. Now you telling me that you didn't see that as fair? That's the part that I'm having a hard time with when it comes to the internet and Lil Durk. You didn't see that as fair? I'm not saying that King Von deserved it. I'm just saying that King Von did, and things happened and ensued, and if he wouldn't have done, it wouldn't be coming back around. Just like anybody else that's moving aggressively looking to hurt somebody. For whatever reason or choice you have, or what it is that's motivating such, whether you in the right if you feel or in the wrong if you feel. If you gonna go out and be aggressive, you gotta know that energy could be met. If I'm gonna go out and start punching the hell out of somebody, I gotta know that energy gonna be met. I learned that in my own life. Drunk. And I told this story once before. I was drunk as hell, being aggressive. It was some dude that was half my size. I don't remember what the hell I was saying to him, but I know it was disrespectful. I know I was in his face threatening him, and I ended up getting sucker punched. Broke my eye in three areas. Learn that lesson right then and there. If you're gonna act that way, you're gonna get that energy met or worse. It could have been worse for me. Dude could have pulled out a gun. I would have never seen it coming. But in that moment, I realized not only did I deserve it, but that probably stopped that other guy from getting hurt, because I probably would have hurt him. For what? I don't even know. To be honest with you, it wasn't nothing but a demon inside of me being aggressive toward that dude. He didn't ask for that. I don't think he probably said anything to me. I was just being a bully, which is something I don't pride myself in being, which is something somebody knocked me out for doing. I didn't lose consciousness, but I wasn't okay either. And I'm not sitting here looking for that person, nor am I thanking them for hitting me. I'm not sitting up here saying that I wanted to be hit, but I am saying I understood and learned that if you're going to act that way, or you're going to let your mind go into those places, however you gets there, you got to know that energy's coming back to you potentially. Once you start doing the devil's dance, expect for a partner. And if you already got a reputation for taking people's lives, then don't expect people to want to punch when they see you getting ready to punch. Especially if they're known for doing certain things of the similar fashion. Shooters are going to shoot. Ain't that what we say in basketball? So with that being said, Lil Durk let the internet, in my opinion, and whoever else was influencing him, to think that it was his responsibility to revenge that situation. No, it was King Von's responsibility to use a bit more discretion in that circumstance and to keep his damn eyes open instead of swinging like he was. It's a God's honest truth. And I like King Von. I thought King Von was one of the most talented MCs that this generation has seen. Storytelling MCs, there wasn't too many better than him. Just like I felt the same about Tupac. But just like Tupac, King Von died the similar way. Tupac thought he was cool to get involved in some hood stuff. He wanted to put hands and feet on somebody, not knowing that he was putting hands and feet on a made man, somebody who would do something about it. And he fell the way that gangsters fall when they get involved in something like that and don't find themselves ready for what comes with it afterward. It's the same story. It's the same story all over again. And instead of learning that lesson, instead of thanking God that he had all the money, all the power, all the fame, everybody's singing his praises, the Lil Durk, he want to try to put forth yet another layer of that same devilish energy out into the world to say, let me put some money on Quando Rondo, the guy whose ass was getting whooped. He want to put money on his head, allegedly. As if he did anything wrong. The worst thing Quando Rondo did was find himself where he was at, to which where he ended up getting in that type of situation. He should have stayed his ass home. But how's he supposed to know that's going to happen? That's the worst thing he did in the situation. He ain't the one that shot your boy, Durk. Lil Tim is the one who shot your boy. That's who you needed to be getting revenge on if you just had to get revenge. Not on the guy who was getting his ass whooped, for which they was trying to protect. And then furthermore, you pay some people who didn't even get the job done. They came all the way across states to make it a federal case and didn't even get their man. They got somebody innocent next to them. That revenge mission was botched all the way around and motivated on some bull crap. It is what it is. Wasn't even going after the person he should have been going after to really get revenge. Lil Pab lose his life. He didn't have nothing to do with none of this bull crap. And now people talking about, oh, revenge is served. Oh, he spent. No, nobody spent nothing. I don't know what part of the game that is, unless there's some parts of this story that don't have clarity at this point. Maybe Quando Rondo did some things afterward that put some lives in danger, and therefore maybe they thought it would be justified in getting Quando out of here. Who knows? The streets move. Sometimes the internet don't get the information. But the point is, if everything's on the way it looks, Lil Durk is going to serve life in jail for putting money on the head of one man and actually killing somebody else. Or worse, the death penalty if they decide they want to give it to him. For putting money on a person's head, they didn't even kill the right dude. See how the devil done robbed everybody? Quando Rondo still running around. Lil Tim's still running around. This is so stupid. And then from what I understand, Durk was moving sloppy, texting people and stuff like that. Putting people in positions to get free promo. Which is a telltale sign that there's something to look at. If some random rapper is on Lil Durk's page, from what I understand, this dude had blood all over his face, something like that. People are going to wonder, who the hell is this person Durk is promoting and what's prompting this promotion? Is there some music coming out with those two? Is he signed this dude? If they don't put two and two together, then they're going to find a third angle. And that's what ultimately we're looking at. It's just, it's sorry, wasted energy, man. People are wasting energy, throwing their lives away, throwing the beautiful lives away at that. A guy like Lil Durk been able to travel the world rapping. Came out of the trenches, was able to travel the world rapping, and this is how he gonna let himself go down. He got little girls, little boys, kids that need to be raised, and all his money gonna go into this stupid trial. And they gonna probably take everything else. You know how the feds do, they gonna take everything else. And people gonna live humble lives after having a rich, famous father. Because he wanted to spin the block on somebody that didn't actually even do the shoot. Silly, man. Silly, stupid stuff, bro. And so it's like this, man. If you're going to engage in dumb get-back energy, or if you're going to try to inflict the same pain that ultimately you suffer from, do expect that the enemy is going to laugh at you and dance on your head. Do expect that. If you're going to move that way, at least expect what comes with it. You're going to lose. You're going to lose. Other people are going to lose with you. There's no winners in this. I understand being emotionally charged and wanting revenge out of emotional pain and and snapping and all of that, that's one thing. That's mental stuff. That's mental health stuff. But when you're sitting back figuring out how best to do something so that you can satisfy the masses as it pertains to what they expect your responsibilities are in committing a crime that ultimately they're not going to have to sit down for. They sitting here telling you have to spin the block and you like, yeah, you right. Just know that the devil done tricked you out of your entire life. Tricked your kids out of the life that you're trying to set them up for. Just know. And the people that you trusting to do that dumb shit with you are not to be trusted, because if they were to be trusted, their character wouldn't allow them to do it with you. This is the part that a lot of people don't understand. We've had this conversation many times. If you're going to do certain things and expect loyalty come with it, you ain't paying attention. Because if they had any morals, they wouldn't do those things. They wouldn't. If they were the type of people you could trust, and you would trust their decision making, would allow them to stay away from doing the stuff that you ultimately asking them to do. Or doing with them. There's a broader scope to look at. People trying to find loyalty in places with thieves and liars. It don't make no sense. That's not how this works. You're doing wrong. Wrong's coming your way. And mind you, another thing that Durk was doing was trying to get closer to his religion. He was trying to get closer to Islam during the process after all that happened. I don't know if that was legitimate or not, but do understand, just as I said, I've been praying for Durk. If you're going to ask God to come, do expect He's going to show up. You understand what I'm saying? That's where people end up going wrong. You want to prompt the name of God after doing some evil stuff. If you're going to ask God to show up, He's going to show up. What you think he gonna watch over you as you continue to do evil? Oh, he gonna hold you accountable and serve justice to those who deserve it in the name of the evil that you're doing to them. Lil Pab's mama somewhere clapping because she getting justice for her son. You asked God to show up, He showed up. And if you pretend that you believe in God when you really don't, well, all the more reason He gonna show up. Don't play with God. I cannot stress this enough. And this is coming from somebody who learned this lesson in his own life several times over. Don't play with Him. If you ask Him to show up, He gonna show up. There's many people around you saying, yeah, this is probably a good play. Pretend like you religious so that they'll stay off your ass. No, you're asking for an energy to come your way that's gonna hold you accountable. That's it. You know you ain't moving like a godly person. If you're going to bring God into the equation, He's going to show up. You know you took that boy life. You going to ask God to show up? He going to show up. And that's what this has taught me. Once again, one more example of such. Toying around with forces that are way beyond the bullcrap he's engaging in. And it'll probably end all right. You know, it probably saved his life if he go to prison. It probably won't get the death penalty or what have you. But just the same, he throws away so much of his life. He puts himself in this position so that he can please the devil's energy. And then gonna call on God like that's gonna save him. No, friend. The Lord is at war with God. And if you're gonna play on the devil's side, then you already know. The devil's in war with God. If you're going to play on his side and then you ask God to show up, He's going to show up. Just don't forget what side you on when you do that. A lot of people think God is something that they have to, that's in place to make them feel better about what they doing, whether it's right or wrong. God, come save me, and if you don't come save me, then you hate me. No, that's not how that works. That's not the relationship between God and man. God gave you choices, and either you're going to make the right decisions or the wrong ones. And in the presence of whatever decisions you make, you draw the line to saying who you want to be, what side of this war you want to be on. He's at war. He's not sitting here just waiting for you to do whatever you want to do and to save you from the consequences of it if it happens to be bad. That's not His job. That's not God's job. It's not necessarily to make you happy. Your job from what I see, is to make him happy. So if you're going to do stuff to piss him off and then summons him, so to speak, he going to show up. And so that's what I'm saying in Lil Durk, man. What you didn't know is that there was somebody praying for you. What you didn't know, there's probably plenty of people praying for you, but there was somebody who really believes in God who's praying for you. Who's praying for you and praying for a bunch of other people, including some of the people you call your enemies. Praying for them too. That's what a lot of these people don't understand. That you don't know who's all praying for you. You don't know who all is praying for you and the other side. And what the Lord is trying to show them through you. You don't know. Everybody think they're the center of the universe, especially when they surrounded by darkness or blinded by darkness. They think that everything's about them. It's not about you. It's about what God is trying to do around you, with you. You are an example, especially if millions are watching you. If millions of people are watching you, then God has a responsibility to use you as an example to all of them. So if you're going to toy with that, you're probably going to be the one to fall on the sword as a better example for the rest of us, because that is ultimately the bigger picture. And whether you think it's all about you and your happiness or you and your ego, well, that's your business. God can work with you either way. He can work around you, with you, through you. You believe in him, not believe in him, it don't make no difference. He's still moving. That's the thing people need to understand. He's going to move regardless. So what is your intentions? Are you trying to make God happy? Are you trying to appeal to something that's greater than yourself? Or are you trying to ask that something to appeal to you as you do whatever you choose? And in doing so, you do understand that that entity is going to move. It's the same thing I say to the Israeli guys. They up here praying. They're asking God to come to their situation. God, give us revenge. God, give us the hand of our enemies. God, do this, do that. You may think you're talking to somebody who's going to deliver these things to you, but really he's someone at war who's watching you play for the other side. He done told all of us in so many different ways not to play with his children. Don't harm my little ones. He says that in most Bibles. Don't harm my little ones. But you keep teaching to one another that you have a right to do that because you're chosen. And you want to call on the entity greater than yourself? Cool. He's coming. He's coming. I see these people praying every day. He's coming. They think God chose them to have their way with the world and to teach one another that it's okay to treat people poorly in their own name. You got it. If that's what your intention is, if you think that is what it's about, and you want to call on something greater than yourself to come down and assist you with that, he's coming. You do better praying to yourself. It'd be easier on you if you stop appealing to something that's greater than yourself to ask you to do things that ultimately he don't want you to do, and he done told all of us not to do. And mind you this, a lot of these people are moving in the way as if they're chosen. Both conversations. Like they're special. Like they've been given something that gives them the right to maneuver in a way that the rest of us cannot. Like they can get away with things that the rest of us cannot. Notice that. The chosen ones and the evil ones both move the same way. I wonder why that is. You talk about these little Durks and Puffy, they think they above the law, right? You look at the Israelis and these chosen Zionists, they think they above the law, right? And they both call on God when it's time for them to go, when they're going through difficulties. I can't tell you how many times I've seen Puffy say, it's my faith that moved me. I believe in God in this way. He was the #1 person to get on stage talking about God. And you calling on God, he coming. I'm gonna call on God. And you are the biggest example of why it's important to keep ourselves in a space of discipline, to not let the ego blow our heads up and the success blow our heads up, and to allow ourselves to fall victim to the worst of our own intentions. We have learned through you, Puffy, Because you called on God, so God is showing all of us through you what happens when we let everything get out of hand. See, he showed up. Wasn't quite what you thought, but he showed up. Dirk, same thing. You thought it was going to be cool to do whatever you were doing in the name of whatever evil energy you're trying to engage in. Your evil homeboy lost his life doing some evil stuff, and now you want to get back at those who got at him. Cool. Fair enough. You call on God when you needed some assistance with that. Here he come. Y'all gonna stop playing with God. That's what I'm telling you. Y'all gonna stop doing it. Y'all gonna stop this. You're gonna stop doing the evil in his name. You atheists who don't believe in God but want to pretend like you believe in God, you're gonna stop doing evil in his name. I promise you are. All you pastors pretend you believe in God, trying to lead people who believe in God to giving you all of their money and basically praising you. You gonna stop playing with God's name. That's where we at. He gonna make dang sure that y'all know. When you call on him, he coming. He may not be intentional on giving you what it is you asking for, but he gonna make a damn good example out of you for the rest of us. That is what's coming. Israel, that's how you want to move. You want to hurt people. You want to take land from people and exalt yourself, make fun of the people who are suffering at the hands of your nonsense, and then you want to call on God. He's coming. That's the lesson. That's what I'm here to tell you. He's on the way. And whatever example he needs to make out of you, he gonna make. Whatever suffering that comes to you because of what it is you've done, you gonna take on. Whatever humbling that comes from this, it's gonna be for him who did it. And it's gonna be because you called on him to come to you while you were playing games, trying to make it look like you were something that you were not, or trying to make it look like he was behind you in what you were doing. He was. Right behind you. You didn't even notice. He saw the whole thing. I'm telling you, man. And so that's what I gotta say, man. A lot of y'all Zionists, y'all chosen, y'all think y'all above the law. You think you're above everything because you control so much. But you're calling on something greater than yourself to come in and be a part of what it is you're doing. And he is coming. That's where you really messed up. You could have did all this little nonsense, all of that, but you had to do it in the name of religion, thinking there was going to be something that that we all adhere to, because of course God gave you something. But you know, and I know, that you weren't talking to the living God that created all of us. You were talking to something that was at war with him. But in the name of trying to make it seem as if you are above what it is that you ultimately are engaging in, you called upon the name of a living God. And that, my friends, was your most critical mistake. You should have never asked your enemy to have your back. I'm just being honest with you. You should never ask your enemy. I ain't calling on the devil to help me with nothing. And yet so many of these devilish entities want to hide behind God religions to put up the guise that they are pure. So essentially, by way of the nature of the circumstance, they're calling on their enemy to show up. They're giving their enemy their location. Consider it. Because if they're fighting for the devil and God is at war with the devil, they're fighting for the devil rather, and God's at war with the devil, and you telling God, hey, I don't believe in you, but I know these people do, so let me just put on a Catholic priest robe or a yarmulke, or, you know, hide behind it, put on some Muslim garments. You know what I'm saying? You want to act like, you know what I'm saying? Like you believe in God. Like that's harmless. Not realizing you were at war. You're on the losing side. And you're giving your enemy your location. That's all y'all doing. So many of these fake pastors, so many of these fake priests that want to hurt children. You know what I'm saying? Zionists who want to say they're religious. There's so many of y'all giving your enemy your location, man. putting on his uniform, acting like y'all him, like he ain't right there behind you, standing there watching you do every single thing you do. Listening to everybody's prayers in regards to you. The biggest mistake y'all can make is thinking he ain't there. The biggest mistake y'all can make is thinking it's harmless, calling upon him to help you with your evil deeds, to help mask your evil deeds. It's not harmless. You're going to feel that. And so that's what I want people to understand, man. 2024, as Cat Williams, who's also on the prayer list, said at the beginning of the year, that this is the year a lot of people are going to be revealed. A lot of people's stuff going to be revealed. This is the year for exposing a lot. And a lot is being exposed. Whole lot. And we still got what? 2.5 more months of this? Y'all keep on playing. There's plenty more to go, and that's the thing about it. There's plenty more to go. I tell you, man, it's not harmless. Giving your enemy your location in the streets ain't harmless. Giving your enemy the location in spiritual warfare is not harmless. Y'all better stop doing it. It'd be in your best interest to quit that. If you don't believe in God, that's cool. It doesn't mean he ain't there. Your lack of belief don't keep him from moving around. Your lack of belief does not keep him from holding people accountable and using you as an example if everybody's watching you. It doesn't stop at you. You may need it to. You may believe it does. The truth does not sway with your belief. It's fine that you don't believe. That's hey, the world around you has made it clear that it's fine that you don't believe. The world around you is still at the adherence of that same energy too. It's learning whatever it's going to learn tomorrow. Whatever lesson we're going to learn tomorrow is going to make us a lot better. And we ain't learned it yet. But we giving passes to people and all these different things. Like it's within our best wisdom to maneuver every which way our mind gives us a right to do. No, you got to adhere to certain things. It's like I was telling y'all about what it is I was eating that I'm allergic to. If I'm going to keep eating things that make me sick, then I'm going to be sick. It doesn't matter that I like the way it tastes or that I believe. Belief don't mean nothing. Biology gonna tell the truth. You can't eat that. You're gonna get sick. But I will the sickness away. My body is my temple. I am a sinner. That don't mean nothing, bro. You put that crap in your body, you're gonna be sick. Period. This ain't no different. Believe, don't believe. Obey, don't obey. It don't matter. He can work with you either way. He can work around you, through you, for you, against you. He can move whatever way he wants to. And the thing about it is, he already told you what he wants you to do. Just be fair. You ain't got to have it all together. Religion gonna lie to you, tell you got to have it all together. You don't. There's no need for you to think that he thinks you have all the answers. If he didn't give them to you, you probably don't have them. Period. It's not about everybody getting it right. This is why I tell you. The religions, the major religions, it's the people behind those religions that both make it so that God is present and make it so that it is corrupt. Those religions, one of them may be the truth, all three of them may be the truth, none of them may be the truth. But if you're calling on God, he's going to show up. That's the point. That's what man needs to understand. Everybody's looking for the right religion. He's behind all of them. If you're calling on him, he's going to show up. You call him Allah, you call him Christ, you saw him Buddha, you calling on him. He know you don't know. That's like your child with the limited understanding that they have in life and your vast understanding beyond theirs. And they get something wrong. But you're going to hold them accountable, stomp all over them, tell them, no, you're going to teach them, right? That's what this is. So when you toy around with the Muslim religion because you think the Christian religion is the right one, what you don't realize is that God is standing behind them too. And when anybody mess with them, they're going to have to deal with him. Why? Because he knows they do not know. Same as you, my Christian brothers. Maybe we got it right. Everybody on our side believes we got it right. That's fine. He's with you because you're calling on him. You may move a different way than the next man who's calling on him, but you're just a bunch of brains trying to figure it out. You're just a bunch of souls inhabiting life that you don't understand. Why would he not stand with you? You're only going to be here for 5 minutes anything way. He's an everlasting being of all time. He knows you don't know. He's not sitting here demanding you get it right. He's sitting here demanding that you understand the most basic of zoom outs as it pertains to this situation. If you call on him, he's coming. If you're going to fight against him, he's going to hit you. If you're going to pretend like you're on his side and you ain't on his side, he's going to grab you and drag your butt over on his side any damn way. And it ain't going to look too that pretty to you. If you're going to war with people in his name against people who are in his name, guess what he's going to do? He's going to listen to both sides and he's going to do what needs to be done. This is not a perfect science, and it don't have to be. You call on God, he coming. It's literally that simple. That's why I don't separate people. I understand I was raised to believe this, that, and the third, but I don't separate people. The Muslim people got God behind them. I know this. He done already shown me this. I know that. He is in Islam. He is with Jewish energy. The good Jewish people have God with them when they pray. He there. When y'all do whatever it is that your prayer is, he's there. Just like when I call on the Spirit of Christ, he's right there. You got the truth, I got the truth. He knows somebody ain't got it right. That don't mean he gonna do away with everybody who got it wrong, because if he has to do that, he ain't gonna have too many people. There ain't gonna be too many souls in heaven if he got to do away with everybody who got it wrong. If he wanted us to get us right, he would give us everlasting life on earth until we get it right. Then you die as soon as you get it right. Until then, you live forever. That was never his intention. Everybody worried about the truth. The truth ain't the point. The point is God. So many people who think they understand the truth. My truth, your truth, all this is truth. It's good. It's fine. If I call on God, he coming. Period. I can say, God, come to me in my new religion. My new religion is to stand on one foot. And I'm going to have other people follow me, but we're going to follow compassion. We're going to follow God, and we want you to be here. Guess what he's going to do? He's going to honor that religion. He's going to honor that practice. Many religions going to tell you they not. You idolizing this, you idolizing. I'm not idolizing anything. I'm asking on the thing that created me to show up and make me better than I am. And heal me of the pain I'm in. He's going to honor that. He know you don't know. I can't pray with them. We can't do with them. They're the opposite of us. That's lies. Those are lies. Y'all a bunch of brains. The only thing that separates you is your perception of each other. That's it. It ain't never going to be deeper than that. The only thing that really separates brains are people's perception of brains. Colonies and tribes and stuff like that. That's your perception. You got people running around thinking they're men and they're not men, women and they're not women. Your perception is what defines those things. And your culture and your agreeances are what define those things. Anything can be made normal if a bunch of people agree to do it for a long enough period of time. I agree to walk around in pants. Tomorrow I might agree to walk around with no pants. And now y'all look crazy if I have them on. I mean, it's like, when you get caught up in the fact that that is the truth, then you understand a lot of this stuff. It's not about necessarily finding the right one. It's just about finding one, sticking to it, and knowing that if you call on him, he coming. That's what it's about. So if you're going to do a bunch of stuff that you know he doesn't want you to do, or if you're going to engage in energy that betrays that for what you call, then you're going to bring it to you in a way that you don't want. Some people call it karma. I mean, it's just the same thing. You gonna match that energy? Because your energy is definitely gonna be matched. It ain't deeper than that. Or you're gonna engage in wisdom that'll help preserve your life and that of the lives of the people you love. See, that's the variable that people need to understand. What reflects positively upon you may not necessarily be what it is you were taught. You might have to think your way through those agreements. Maybe it probably is in your best interest to put on pants, so to speak. But if you can't think your way out of what it is you were taught, or if you can't think your way around the propaganda that's been placed upon your head, then you're going to be coerced into being the wrong side of whatever it is you're doing, regardless of the religion you're engaging in. Because you're still going to be doing the devil's dance. And mind you, it may be a million religions, but it's still the same enemy. Working the same way, looking to do the same thing. That's the centerpiece. It ain't your truth. It's the fact that you're at war with the same damn enemy, each and every one of them. That's the true north. Video 44. Thank y'all for watching.